You made a big impression in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. What was that whole experience like? Can you just talk us through how much you enjoyed that week?
Yeah, it was definitely a blessing, definitely a grind as well. We got to meet with every NFL team and obviously had to compete against some of the best seniors around the country. So that was definitely a fun experience kind of going against that competition.
What is that like then when you've got to sort of put your best foot forward when you're talking to different teams, but you've also mentally got to be prepared for practice. Physically, you've got to be right to put a good performance as well. How do you balance all of those things together in a week?
To me, it's just fun because it makes everything harder. So you got some of the best guys while having to, not get that much rest, not get that much time to kind of, I guess, recover your body like you normally do. So being able to like kind of go through that mental challenge kind of can separate guys. So if you were a guy that kind of that affected you, then that obviously made it hurt your play. That was a guy who kind of I guess takes pride in stuff like that. Those types of challenges. You're gonna have a fun week.
Is it quite a special experience? It's the best versus the best at the Senior Bowl. Was it something that you were able, you're glad that you've been able to tick off in your career? I wanted to do this before turning pro. I wanted to sort of have this experience of competing at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I didn't kind of get I don't want to say recognition, but I feel like my talents weren't really I guess known to the NFL community. So I wanted to kind of come out here and prove it to to all in front of all these teams and scouts that I can be a very dominant player, that I'm very athletic, very intelligent and versatile.
Because you excelled in the practice. You had a great week. Was there anything you could do before getting there to sort of prepare yourself to have the kind of week that you did?
Well, I think it's just over my entire kind of football career. I started playing football in high school as a freshman, and just ever since then, I've just been working hard. So I think it's just a build up from that moment of like never kind of cheating myself, always working like extremely hard, trying to maximize each day. So I wouldn't say it's just the last couple of months after my season that kind of prepared me for it. I think it's just over the course of how my mindset has been my entire football career.
How proud were you to be voted the national team's defensive lineman of the week? Because that's voted by the players that you're competing against. What was your reaction when you discovered that they'd voted for you?
Yeah, definitely happy about it to kind of get recognition from kind of your peers, people you go against, kind of say, you were obviously kind of the best player that week. So I mean, I really appreciated that. And just kind of one step, that I needed to have a great week at the Senior Bowl, and I feel like I did. So it's just kind of, one step closer to where I need to be.
So we know that the offensive linemen found you a real handful. They found it a challenge to compete against you. I just wondered, which were the opponents that you found it good to go against? Who were the offensive linemen that you found to be very competitive, a good test?
Yeah, I would say Cody Mach was really good. McClendon Curtis was really good. I feel like those two guys kind of were I guess different from some of the other guys there. So yeah, I'll go with those two guys.
How do you use your frame to your advantage? Because you're very explosive, you've got good arm length, haven't you? But you seem to be able to leverage quite well at 6'1". How do you combine those things together to be an impact player?
I would just say just that I'm very athletic. I'm very smart. I'm able to handle different, responsibilities. And then obviously my long arms kind of help me get to guys quicker than some other guys. So I think that kind of combination kind of overall helps me with my play.
Did you sort of get the feeling as the week was going on, this is going well? Because just like rep after rep, you're winning all the time. You could see actually when you were winning in the reps, as you sort of running back to the line, all of the other defenders are like high-fiving you. They're reacting. They're sort of bouncing off what you're doing in those 1v1 reps. So did you sort of get a really positive vibe while you were there, while it was all happening?
Uh, Maybe afterwards. Like I would say in the moment, my mindset is go and dominate. So I'm not necessarily happy about me winning one rep because winning one rep doesn't really mean a lot. I mean, it means a lot more when you're winning consistently. So just kind of keep going and going, not to, because I didn't want to leave any doubt that, oh, he only had one good day, or oh, he only had one good rep. I wanted to show that I can consistently be disruptive.
You were on Bruce Feldman's, he calls it a freaks list, the best athletes in college football. Did you
Mhm.
pick up on that when you were named on that list? Did anybody say anything to you? Hey, have you seen this, that you've made the list?
Yeah, I think my strength coach actually let me know. He nominated me up for it, so that's when I found out.
Do you think you should be a little bit higher? Because I had a read at what you were capable of doing, and I was thinking you're a little low on this list.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't really matter to me as much because the freaks list isn't gonna, I guess, necessarily help you become a better player. But I definitely think I'm a very good athlete.
What are the next few weeks like for you? As you prepare for that, for the combine, what is your schedule like? You finished the Senior Bowl. What's next? Pull the curtain back for us. What are you up to?
Yeah, so I'm just focused on the combine now. I mean, now the Senior Bowl's over with, so before it was kind of Senior Bowl combine. Now it's just focused on the combine. Just going every day, training, doing our speed work in the mornings, and then lifts in the afternoon, and then kind of just preparing my mind. Each rep, just imagine myself in Indy running it. So taking, there's a little bit more sense of like a sense of urgency and intent with each rep, just as we get closer and closer to the combine.
Have you got to try and enjoy this process as much as it's work and you're competing to go as high as possible in the draft? You only got to do this once in a career, don't you? This is the
Right.
one opportunity. Do you have to try and enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my mindset is just like keep working hard, keep trying to get better in each little thing. Don't get comfortable because even if I, may have a good number, like I still want to get a better number. So just always having that mindset because, like you said, there's only a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I want to maximize it to the best I can.
When you imagine yourself in the NFL, is there a role that you think that's me? How do you see yourself fitting into a defensive lines? If teams say to you, what is your best role? How are you going to answer that question?
I'll say I'm a defensive lineman who has versatility, and is very smart, can do different things to help your team, and is going to play very hard.
Do
So
you
those are kind of images I'll give myself as a player.
do you have any players that you think, I want to emulate them? That's who I look up to. I think I see a little bit of my game in them. Is there anybody like that in the NFL?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the best players ever is Aaron Donald. He's probably my favorite player to watch. So that's one guy, and then there's a lot of other guys similar in my build in terms of like defensive tackles. You got Ed Oliver, Osi Odigizua on the Cowboys, Grady Jarrett on the Falcons, Milton Williams of the Eagles. Those type of frames at D tackle. And then at defensive end, you got guys like Brandon Graham on the Eagles, and then Melvin Ingram. When he played on the Chargers, kind of those type of frames at defensive end. So I try to watch guys that are like similar to me in frame. So those are kind of like the family of I guess guys that I kind of look at.
And my final question for you is, what's it going to be like when you're drafted? Who you're going to be with? Who do you think the first person you'll have a conversation with after that moment happens? And when you speak to them and say, I'm a pro, what do you think that conversation will be like?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I know I'll be with my family and people that have been close with me during this entire process from when I started playing football. So it's definitely gonna be a very exciting moment. But yeah, I think I don't really know yet. I don't know.
Well, look, the best of luck with the process. Big fan of what you've done there in the Senior Bowl and with your career at Northwestern. So best of luck with everything. Hope it goes well.
Appreciate you so much.